Hello and welcome to Life After Narc. I'm Paula, and if you're a subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new and you like this video, please subscribe. Narcissists using pets as supply. Now, before I talk about narcissists using pets as supply, I know that some narcissists and sociopaths, psychopaths are flat out abusive to animals, and I have known a narcissist that was abusive to animals. She would beat her dog when it would urinate on the floor, and then she would be angry when it saw her, would freeze and urinate on the floor and not understand why. And the fact was because she was abusing it. So that is not what I am talking about here. So yes, many of them are flat out right abusive to their animals. But I am talking about ones that use their animals as supply. But using an animal as supply is just like anything else. They think they are loving them, but it's not really loving because it is using them. So it's not putting them first. So it's kind of the same way with, say, their child. So it would be like if your child really likes chocolate cake a lot, and they said, "Gee, Mom or Dad, I love you so much when you give me chocolate cake." So you gave them chocolate cake for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And that is sort of how some of these narcissists are with their pets. They're like giving them chocolate cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner because that feeds their ego, or at least that was my experience. So I'm going to tell you a true story, and it is about the dog that is in the thumbnail, and I'm going to show you more pictures of this little dog, and her name was Gemma. Growing up, I had never had a dog in my life. My father hated dogs, and my sister and I were attacked by two German shepherds when I was a child, so I was actually kind of afraid of dogs. But in 2010, my daughter adopted or bought this adorable little Yorkie, and she named her Gemma. And she was only just out of high school. And as often happens, the doggy grandparents ended up becoming the parents of the dog. And I knew nothing about raising dogs. I'd never had a dog before, but she was an adorable little dog, and I learned quickly how to take care of a dog. This is 2010. I had been with my narcissistic husband for 9 years now, but I still had no idea that he was a narcissist. And I noticed that since I was doing most of the caretaking, feeding her, walking her, doing all those type of things, that the dog was really attaching to me as the main person. And I thought, and she wasn't completely housebroken yet, and this was annoying my husband. And I thought, this isn't a good thing. So, because I knew he was jealous, so I thought, I need to get, for this dog's benefit, I need this dog to start really attaching to him. This will be beneficial to the dog. And at the time, I had no idea that we would ever split up. I never thought that would ever happen, because I was still under the impression that he would never cheat, never leave me, that was never a possibility. So at the time, by me thinking I should get this dog to bond to him more than me, I thought that I was doing something that was in the best interest of the dog. And so now I just have a couple little clips of our life with Gemma. Here's Gemma as a young puppy. We used to take her every day across the street to this coffee shop and have breakfast with her every day. When Gemma was really little, my daughter used to carry her in her purse. So here she jumped in my beach bag, which she was telling me she wanted to go bye-bye. And here's Gemma all dressed up for a doggy costume contest she was in at a local Irish pub. Now, my ex had a food addiction, and of course dogs love food, and they love it when you give them special treats and food. So he started giving her a lot of special food all the time. And by special food, I mean driving through McDonald's and giving her an order of fries or a cheeseburger, things that were really horrible for her. And I and the kids would get on him about that and tell him, please don't do that. That's really bad for her. And he would ignore us and not like us to tell him those things. The other ways that he used the dog to gain what I would call narcissistic supply was he had a convertible, and he would drive around with her in the car, and I have a little statue that looks like her, and he would put her on his shoulder while he was in the car like this, and he would be just driving around with her in the car like this. And so he'd be at signals and just driving around in this car with this dog right here, and he'd just be smiling with this dog in the car. So he'd just be loving all this attention that he would be getting for having the dog right here on his shoulder. And another way he would get so much narcissistic supply off of having the dog is he ordered these fake service dog tags. He has diabetes. So he got these service dog tags that said that she is a diabetic service dog. So he takes her into Walmart, the grocery stores, and then he gets on those electric ride-on carts and takes her on the cart with him, and then everyone comes up to him and says, "Oh, your dog is so cute, oh." And so he gets so much narcissistic supply off having this cute little dog. It's just massive doses of narcissistic supply off the little dog. Here's the last photo I had of Gemma that I took of her with me. This is 2 days before I gave her up, and I gave her back to him after I'd had her for 11 months with me, and she was at a perfectly healthy weight of about 10 pounds. So then something happened so we got her in 2010, then something happened in 2013 that I'm not going to go into here for the purposes of this video. but we began living in separate homes, but we were not broken up. We were in the same city, so we were still seeing each other, and Gemma was going back and forth between our homes because we're in the same town. But then in 2016, he went to his brother's house in Las Vegas because his brother supposedly had cancer and he was going to care for his brother. So he temporarily left Gemma with me, and actually when he left, he was supposed to come back and rejoin me and rejoin our marriage. But this is when he discarded me. And he left Gemma with me for 11 months. And then later reclaimed her. And I think it's all because narcissists have they call it object consistency when the object isn't there. And I think this was really to hurt me and punish me, to let me think he's gonna let me keep her, and then to take her away from me, to get me extra attached to her, and then take her away from me, just as an extra punishment and harm. Anyway, so I had her until August of 2017 when he came and reclaimed her, and I was not there. I dropped her off at at his daughter's house, my stepdaughter, and I went on a road trip, so I did not have to see him when he came and got her. And I had her at a perfect healthy weight and everything. And when I met him in Dallas, like 3 months later to get my car, she had put on a lot of weight, like 3 or 4 pounds, which is a lot for a little dog. So anyway, I am just curious if anyone else out there has experience with narcissists using dogs as a way of gaining narcissistic supply and using animals to try to punish you. Well, in fact, his idea originally was that even though at the time he was living in Nevada and now he lives in Georgia and we're completely no contact, I haven't been in contact with him for over a year. His idea, oh, we'll just share the dog and fly back and forth and she'll live with each of us for 3 months. And I'm like, no, that is not in the animal's best interest. So, it's all about them, and they do not take in consideration what is in the animal's best interest. It's all about how the animal fits their needs, not how they can meet the animal's needs. And it's a very sad, sad thing, and it really broke my heart, and I haven't gotten another dog since then. And I have to be careful about breed because of my son's asthma. Anyway, so I'm curious if any of you out there have experienced this with a narcissist using an animal to meet their own needs for supply, or putting their animals above their family. So anyway, please leave any comments below, and thank you for stopping.